I just want us all to laugh really quick and make funny faces, and then we'll just go. I'm so glad you guys are on this call. Thank you very, very much. I have been wanting to lead a call with you guys for a while, but listen, I got some big shoes to fill. You got some great leaders. So I thought I have got to come in. I've got to come in with big guns, like literally. I got to come in with lots of information. And then I looked through my information, like, no, I gotta pull in big guns that I know to lead a great call. So I want to introduce you to my friend, Steve. And I say friend because he truly is. Him and his family I consider my friends. And I tell you that because not to make you excited about the call, but because you don't, probably could care less to hear from my friend, but he's very trustworthy. He knows what he knows the stuff he's going to talk to you about today. He is a businessman, a family man. And when we started working together over a year ago, I can't remember the conversation we were having, but it was something like, I work for you, you work for me, or whatever. And he said, no, we work together. We're business partners. I'm going to help you build your business. We're doing it together. And like that sold me. And I don't mean sold me like, I'm going to pay a lot of money, but it just sold me on the type of man that he is and the type of relationship that I know him and I would have. And so, it was a year, over a year and a half ago that I just was having the biggest struggles in my business. It was going fine, but I have 3 online businesses. And so I'm not just a Beachbody coach. I have the Park Studios, which he helped me launch. Thank God. I would have never been able to do without him. And the project, which I've had for a while, but he's made it more efficient. So it really came into my business at a time in my life when I needed him because I was feeling overwhelmed. Like I was feeling overwhelmed. There was just so much going on. I didn't have time for my family. I didn't have time for my businesses. I knew what I wanted to do. But listen, I'm a squirrel. I see something shiny and I go. I go. And he focuses me. Him and his wife just focus me. So that's all the personal stuff and from me and from my heart. But just so you guys know, he's the CEO and founder of Direct Sales Marketer, and they're the only marketing agency that works specifically with network marketers. And I wrote a bunch of notes, but I kind of know it all by heart now. I'm excited. He has a degree in French and German and Spanish. Oh my gosh. Are you going to talk to us in all those languages during this call? That would be kind of cool. An MBA in marketing management, and he works with what a lot of people don't know is he works with 3 of the current top 10 coaches. And he works with literally numerous 6-figure coaches in Beachbody and other networking marketing agencies. Not that there are any, but if there were any, he happens to be working with some of them. And what's really cool is he recently launched, and this is what I love, and I know we're doing a part 2. If you didn't know, we're going to do a part 2 call with Steve. But he recently launched a program helping coaches with content creation and inbox automation. And it is literally, that's how I believe how I got 46 Success Club points a couple months ago. It's the automation.
You should see the bot we have ready for you for Transform 20.
I'm so excited. Maybe I could show them on my phone or something.
Yeah, we can probably put that up. I can do a demo of that.
Okay, perfect. That's not all, by the way. He teaches leadership, motivation, and marketing for the largest university system in California. Most importantly, he's married to Nicole. She's a yoga and Hi-Yo instructor. Duh. He has 2 children, Addie and Charlotte, Addie's 11 and Charlotte is a queen at 3 years old. She's going to rule the world one day, I know. And in his spare time, he oh, sorry, there's nothing on here, Steve, because you have no spare time. But I'm pretty sure that once he has the spare time, he'd love to cook and to travel. Disney, I'm thinking mostly.
Yeah, we love Disney. It's true.
And that's Steve. I could not run my business or pretty much my life without him. So here you go.
Okay. Thank you. Well, that's quite an introduction. And I'm not going to attack you with foreign languages today. I was speaking to a Beachbody coach who is a PhD in French literature. It was amazing. Some may know who that is, but we had a conversation today. I'm going to put something in the chat window. First of all, hopefully this works. And hopefully I'm sharing the right thing with you. So today I'm going to do customer or stranger to coach, essentially, and the journey of that. And this is like one of my favorite topics to talk about, because I feel like everyone wants to see someone and pull them off the street and turn them into a coach without building any relationships. And it's kind of like you going into a restaurant, seeing that hot guy or hot girl across the room and going up to them and saying, hey, do you want to marry me? That get you in trouble or make you president of the United States. I'm not sure, but anyway, on that note, drop your questions in the box as you in the chat box as you see them. I've put an editable workbook in it, so I'm going to take you through the journey from being from essentially from prospect to promoter is what I call it. But essentially, it is how to build relationships with people, which I think is just paramount. It's so important. So let me pull that up there. I'm going to do it through the movies of Will Ferrell. Because Nicole loves Will Ferrell that much. She invited him to the wedding. He didn't come, but when we got married, she invited him to the wedding. The resort we got married at, he frequented it. So it was certainly a place that he would have known where to come. But anyway, he probably thought she was some crazy girl, and she kind of is, but in a good way. So she's looking at me. She's about to go and teach Pio. From prospect to promoter, here we go. Okay, so just as we were talking about it, marketing and taking someone from being a stranger to being someone who loves everything you do and goes around and shouts about your things is kind of like the 12 stages of intimacy. Now, if you've never read the book, The 12 Stages of Intimacy, yes, we're not in bed, Michelle, but we're going to talk intimacy today. And so this is the 12 stages of intimacy. It starts with eye to body. You see that person across and you look at them and then you look at their eye and then maybe you chat and then you hold hands and then arm to shoulder. If anyone needs to give this to their husband as a guide for later, feel free. Arm to shoulder, arm to waist, not straight to, step 10, 11. You have to do a bit of the other stuff first, mouth to mouth, hand to head, hand to body. I'm not going to carry on. You guys can read that. You can see what that is. And, obviously stage 12 is bow chicka wow wow. We think of marketing in a similar way, in that we're not trying to sleep with everybody we meet with, but we kind of move them from being a stranger into being a prospect and into a buyer and kind of warming them up. And this, right? If you've been a coach for a while, you have a conversation with someone and you're like, yes, they're going to sign up, and then no. And then the next month you're like, you're going to sign this month? And no. And then the next month, and then like 18 months later, they're like, yeah, I've tried everything. And I think I'm ready to give this a go now. And it's just like, okay, well, let's move forward with this. So 9 steps is overwhelming to start with, but we think of it as 9 steps. So the first step is kind of like taking them from being a stranger to being a prospect, and then from being a prospect to a buyer, and then a buyer to like a raging advocate who screams from the tops about you. And so we start with awareness, which is the first stage. You move them through to engagement, and then connection, participation, excitement, purchase, affirmation, referral, promotion. Don't worry, we're going to go into each of them in more detail now and bring in the Will Ferrell movies. But the first thing I want you to think about is avatar. Not the blue people. Michelle told me 30 minutes. So I'm going to kick through this really fast. But if you've got any questions, you can send them to me afterwards, and I'll be happy to help you. But avatar is like really important. And I have an example avatar. Let me pull up an example avatar for you. He says, I forgot that I put that in these slides. So this is an avatar I did for an elite coach who some of you may have heard of. Her and her husband did a, not that one, this one. Here we go. So let me share my screen again. So this is an elite coach who we did an avatar for. When I think of avatar, people can be so vague sometimes. You guys can see this. You can see it says Kelsey Shackley, right? You guys know who Kelsey Shackley is? She's kind of cool. She's in Janelle's team. So some of you would know her because of that. But when I think of avatar, I do so much more in detail than working mums or something vague like that. And you guys need to be that too. So this is Kelsey's avatar, and we'll kick through this quickly, as I said. I like to position you as a coach as the mentor in a story. So you're Yoda, your customer's Luke Skywalker. You are Mr. Miyagi, and they are Daniel's son. And then if we've got let's have a look how old people look on here. You are Reese Witherspoon, and you're teaching your customer to bend and snap. Okay. So this is where you position yourself. They have issues, and you want to help them move. You want to help them go to that next stage in their life. So Jenny's a mum. She wants to be healthy. She wants to feel good about herself. She wants to be more confident. Perhaps she wants her husband to check her out as she's walking through the house. This is from Kelsey's words, not from mine. I joke that if I threatened to check my wife out while she was walking through the living room, I'd get beat up. And she's kind of badass, so she would beat me up. Michelle will be nodding at this point. She gained a little weight in college. She's been trying to lose it, but it's not been easy with being a wife, a mum, working a job. She's living life, but not loving life. It's important to her to spend time with her kids, and she'll get messy with them in sweatpants, but at the same time, she likes to get glammed up for a date night with her husband. I'll share the link for this so you guys can look at it as well. And then she has a problem and she wants you to solve it. Your customer has a problem and then they want you to solve it. And it's probably not that they want to lose weight. That's probably not the reason that they're going to work with you. It's going to be another reason which is going to change why they want to work with you. They want to become, for Michelle's business, maybe you want to be a better PIO instructor. Maybe you want to... That's the main reason people do the project, but maybe they need confidence, and one of those reasons. For here, it's a coaching example. She doesn't feel fulfilled. From the outside, it looks like she's got a perfect life. She's got a good job with good prospects. She's got good friends, great family life, doing well with career. There's prospects, but people don't see the frustration she has. She doesn't like going to work. She's torn between, how much time she spends with the kids and things like that. And she's having trouble staying consistent with her health, fitness, etc. So she wants to be a mum, but at the same point doesn't want to neglect her kids. So how are you the mentor? Well, to be a good mentor, to be a good Mr. Miyagi, has everyone here seen The Karate Kid at some point? I prefer you to have seen the old one, not the one with Jackie Chan, because it's just not as good. But, you are, Mr. Miyagi gets respect because he shows that he knows karate, right? They're running down the hill. They got the shower. He's running down the hill. All the bad guys are kicking his butt. Mr. Miyagi hops over the fence and and with that, we know Mr. Miyagi knows karate. It doesn't matter if he has a black belt. We know he doesn't. We know that he doesn't have the formal certifications. And this is you as a Beachbody coach, right? This is like, hey, I lost some weight. I know how to do this. That gives you authority. You don't need to have a certification. You don't need to be a nutritionist. You don't need to have done the 2B Mindset certification. Yeah, sure, if you have, great. It can give you an extra little boost. You could be a personal trainer, but personal trainers don't necessarily do any better in Beachbody coaching than people who have no qualifications in it. But if you can show that you've got authority by having walked the walk, got healthier, got better in some way, then you can be a good mentor for people. And empathy is that I've been there, I've done that, I understand what it's like. I remember going into a gym and looking at the machines and not sure which one to do, and not sure if I was wearing the right sort of pants, and avoiding all the gazes from hungry, lustful men in the gym and all these sorts of things. That was me all the time. I had to avoid those gazes of hungry, lustful men. As soon as the accent comes out, they're all over me. I tell you. Michelle's never going to invite me on a call again. So anyway, you give them a plan. People like plans. People don't like to think I've got 100 pounds to lose. They like to think I've got 5 lots of 20 pounds to lose. And I'm going to do PIO for my first 20 pounds. And then I'm going to do the 21 day fix for my next 20 pounds. And then I'm going to do some crazy Sean t-shirt. Okay. So you like them to have a plan, right? The 100 pounds is like a raging river, right? And you're standing in front of this raging river and thinking, I'm never going to get over that raging river. But you as a coach can say, hey, stepping stones, 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, 4 step, done. People like simple plans. So here with Kelsey, we're like, well, she make a decision, maybe decide, commit, succeed. I think Beachbody may have known that when they put that together, but essentially they're the 3 steps. And if you can paint them out for them, help them find a program that works for them, help them engage, learn how to build a business, and then see them success. People like to see steps. So if you can break things down into 3s, that's a good place to go. Okay. And then as the mentor, as the guide, you have a call to action for people, which is like, come join my team, come do this, come join my challenge group, come do Transform 20 with me, etc. And you need to ask people to do that. We talk about, having those relationships, building those relationships, and people never asking for that next step. And that's what you need to do. So you have to ask people, you have to say, hey, come do this with me. Let's take this adventure. let's do this together. We are going through this. And excuse me. As much as you can talk about success, sometimes you have to put a little failure in. It's kind of like salt in a recipe. If you are constantly like, yay, this is what it's going to be like if it's amazing, that's great. But sometimes you have to slap people across the face with a wet fish and be like, if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen, right? We saw this technique is used from other areas as well. And somebody saw like a 50% increase in conversions because it was like, don't miss out. Fear of missing out, FOMO is a big thing. But, stop doing what you've always done that hasn't worked. Stop trying to break through that glass ceiling that's dominated by men in the corporate world and come out and actually earn 6 figures as a Beachbody coach, because anyone can do it. Anyone who's on the call can do this. I work with so many different people that have come from so many different backgrounds, from PhDs to no education, from former alcoholics to, all sorts of areas. Anyone can do this. If you don't know how to do it, you find out how to do it and you just work your butt off. Simple as that. If you do that for 2 or 3 years, you'll coast. You really will. So, you need to paint the transformation for your person as well. So this is where you're going to go from. This is what you're going to go to. Right now, you're scared shitless of doing a Facebook Live. Give me 6 months time and you're going to be doing a Facebook Live and it's going to be as natural as, I don't know, something that's really natural. I wasn't prepared for that. And then last couple of things in the avatar here, we just put some nice inspirational quotes, etc. for Kelsey, make her feel special about that. Now let's jump back into the slide, because that's an avatar, and I'll give you that example. But start to think about what they like, and what does your avatar like that no one else likes. And once you have an avatar, you're going to speak directly to them. You're going to use the language that they understand better than anyone else. You can then market to them better. Once you understand who you're trying to work with, you can start to really think what would affect them. And it will improve the quality of your posts if you know who you're writing to. And when I talk about posts, I look at social media and cringe a lot of the time because the posts are so bad. You need to have posts that help people thrive, as in do better in their life or survive. Well, most of the things that you're doing, we're not saving lives generally, although we help people live a lot better. So you're helping them thrive. So if you just post a picture of your food there and just say, hey, this is what I ate for dinner, how does that help me? Give me a recipe. Give me something that's going to make me think, oh, I get a lot of value from that page. I want to go back there. Oh, she told me that there's a lot of fat in avocados and it's really good for my skin and my hair. Oh, I should read that and I should go back on that sort of thing. So think who you're writing to. Have a picture of them. Have a picture of them on top of your laptop when you're scheduling your posts, or think about them, and think, well, what would Jane think about this? What would John think about this? Give them a name, etc., and really, really think about what they would like. I did a call for Moira Kusaba, and it was last year, and it was just after the Ariana Grande bombing at the concert in Manchester. And, my parents were the sort of parents who were like super protective. So if I was going out, they would drop me off and they would say, we'll meet you back here in a couple of hours. And I started to think, and it always chokes me up just thinking about those parents who took their kids to the concert and they dropped them off outside the stadium and said, I'll meet you right here afterwards. And they think that they're perfectly safe by doing that. They just literally had to run in the door and run out the door afterwards. So they weren't going to get raped or mugged or anything like that. The things that we worry about as parents. And then they went into a concert and some crazy guy with a backpack blew them up. And I don't know anyone who was in that situation, but when I start to think like the mum who thinks like that, it changes the way you write to them, right? Because you can relate to that person, that hyperprotective mum, and you can write to that hyperprotective mum, and you could talk to them. And when people feel that you understand them, it changes everything. It really does. So think hyper-focus on who you're trying to target. Do they remember Saved by the Bell? Did they grow up watching Saved by the Bell? I did. I guess I was born in the 80s, but 90s TV. So I remember watching Saved by the Bell. And so I can watch that and it will make me laugh and things like that. The first album I bought was Dangerous by Michael Jackson. It was the first album I remember having bought for me. And so when you know those sorts of things, you can start to build those connections. You can remember that crazy TV show or that crazy artwork or the music video where, you know, when MTV used to play things other than Teen Mum or whatever they play nowadays. So thinking about those things are huge. And if you look at the top coaches, they have that. You know, Ashley Moldstad, who pretty much is going to be #1 coach this year, she has a certain sort of person that she works with. They tend to have young kids. They kind of like to party a little bit still, and they have that fun. And then, you know, someone like Amy Silverman's, you know, kind of her brand is going to change, which is amazing, because we're seeing it with people like Bonnie Engel as well. You know, Bonnie Engel's gone from being, you know, double income, no kids, working hard all the time, to shit, I've got a baby to look after as well now. And it's going to be the same for Amy Silverman, who's like yoga, relaxation, peacefulness. But that's, you know, once they had that brand, you know, people understand the travel lifestyle, the relaxing, you know, the doing yoga on the pier or whatever, you know, she does, and the tattoos and everything like that. But suddenly it's going to change, and we may not see her audience move with her, and someone else may come in to fill that spot as well. But brand is really important, and it doesn't make sense. If you're a radio station, Melissa did a great talk on this for Super Saturday up here in Sacramento. And she spoke about your brand voice being music, right? So you're a radio station. So if you play rock all day long. If you suddenly dropped like a heavy metal song in the middle of that, people would be like, okay, this is kind of interesting. But I listen to this station for rock, not for metal. And so you might be like, okay, I'll give this one song a go. You can get away with that one post that is out of character. But then if you keep doing that, people will be like, well, I want to listen to a rock station, so I'm going to listen to someone else now instead. So think about that. Make sure that you are projecting the same voice all the time. And as you do that, people are going to love you. You're going to find people that you actually want to take away on a diamond retreat. Because let's face it, if you just go out looking for the low-hanging fruit from every different area, you're going to end up with some people who have political views, religious views on kids that are very different from you. And you're probably not going to be the closest team. It's best if you have people who have similar values to you, and that's okay, right? I just want to say this right now. People think that, you know, you can't be prejudicial in marketing, and you can. This is your team, and you can build it how you want, and you shouldn't be ashamed of that. Most of you would have no problem saying, I don't want to work with guys, right? I see women on here, you think, I don't want to work with guys. Sure, if some come into my team, maybe someone's amazing, and that's great, fine. But most people don't want to work with guys, and that's fine. You can be the same on political, on religion, on ginger hair. Ask Michelle about British people with ginger hair and that sort of thing. But, you know, you can choose who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. If religion is a big part of your brand, it doesn't make sense for you to work with an atheist, because they're not going to appreciate your plank and pray group. That's right, plank and pray, not prank and play. Really think about your avatar. That's all I'm going to speak about on that, because I could talk to you a whole call about avatar, and we don't want to make this a 3-part series. Okay. Let's go big. Awareness. Who are you and why should I care? So this is the very first step, right? This is, how do you take someone from not even knowing who you are to bringing them into your business? Good places to build awareness. Instagram, you have to use good hashtags. Captivate is a great app for collecting people to follow. And if you're good enough, you're in the next stage, they'll start to work with you. It's called Captivate. You can go and look for people based on hashtags, based on who they follow. So I'm going to give you my big secret for making sure that I get Beachbody coaches to follow me, because I train Beachbody coaches. I go and look for people who follow Carl Deichler, because if you follow Carl Deichler on Instagram, it's likely that you're a Beachbody coach. There may be a few other people, but 98% of the people on there are Beachbody coaches. So I go and follow the people there, and hopefully they follow me back. You can find me on Instagram at Steve the Marketer. I don't have time to post ever. There's no value there whatsoever, but maybe one day I'll have some time to do that. we're bringing people into the team right now, and that's freeing up some time so I can do fun things like team calls, team trainings. Instagram, Captivate. When I say hashtags, right, don't go looking for people using Shakeology or Transform 20 or Pio or anything like that, because it's not going to help your business. Think about your avatar again. And if you love corgis, right, you're the Queen of England, you've got your corgis running around, go and look for Corgi Lover or you know, if you've got lots of tattoos, because I can see you, Ellen, go and look for inked girls and or you know, people who like inked magazine. I saw your quest for number one. I'm sorry you missed out on that, but you know, that sort of thing is how you find your niche. So if you love cats, if you love some weird sport, let's say paddleboarding. Now, you may love Reese Witherspoon. The problem is 20 million other people love Reese Witherspoon. So following her on Instagram is going to get you a load of people that aren't going to do very well for you. You need to find people who are your person's person and not anyone else, or very few other people. So, you know, the example I always pull is a golf example because I'm a guy and I like golf. But no matter who you are, if you like golf or if you don't like golf, you know who Tiger Woods is, right? Everyone knows who Tiger Woods are. So if you were trying to sell golf products and you went and targeted Tiger Woods, you would get a lot of people who like golf, of course, but you get a lot of people who just like Tiger Woods and want to see what he did. And, you know, he's an amazing sportsman, not so good husband, but, you know, they're the sorts of things that so you need to niche down more. Phil Mickelson, a lot of people know him because his wife had breast cancer and he was a big cancer supporter. He was also involved with this big match, this gambling thing that was going on. Go for someone really strange like Bubba Watson. Bubba Watson, if you don't like golf, you don't know who Bubba Watson is, and that's absolutely fine. So same thing with yoga. Maybe there's some niche yoga instructor that you can think of that isn't Gaia Yoga or, you know, one of the big brands. Lululemon, lots of people like that. They tend to be into fitness if they like Lululemon, but some of them just like to walk around in comfortable pants, right? Go more niche. Go for a yoga brand. Someone, and maybe there's a yoga brand where people have lots of money, so you know that they're not going to give you a price objection, which is always the thing. So maybe there's a small niche brand that you know, and I don't care if they've only got 3,000 or 4,000 followers on Instagram, because they could be 3,000 or 4,000 really good potentials for your business. Okay, that's kind of Instagram done. YouTube is a huge area right now, second biggest search engine after Google. Huge opportunity to help people. Couple of things that my clients have done. I have a client who had post-pill amenorrhea. Do you know what post-pill amenorrhea is? I didn't either. Essentially, if you take the pill for a long time, you basically stop taking it to have a baby and you don't have a period. And you're essentially temporarily infertile. She did a video on that. She ranks number one on that, and she gets Beachbody coaches from it because people understand what she's going through with post-pill amenorrhea. So if you have Hashimoto's or Crohn's disease or any of those sorts of things where you can provide value in people's life, you are more than just a Beachbody coach. You're a lifestyle coach, and Beachbody is just how you make money. Okay, I'm just knocking things down over here. As you can see, I'm in London. I always do this, so people think that I'm British or something, and fake accent. YouTube is a great way of bringing people in and making them aware of you. And the best, I'd never tell this on a call, but it's Michelle and Ellen, and so I'm going to give you this super big bit of value. The best way to get ranked on YouTube is to copy the hashtags of the number one ranked video for what you're trying to rank. So if someone's on there ranking for Hashimoto's meals, go and copy their hashtags. And what will happen is you will appear in the next videos to watch next. And by doing that, people start to see you. And as long as you're better and more and more energetic, more exciting than number one ranked video, people are going to see it. You're going to get ranked. You're going to have loads of people comment on it. You're going to get number one. Interact with anyone who comments on you on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. Respond to every comment. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they like people to be having a conversation. They don't want people just pushing. They like interaction. Blog, SEO. Still, Melanie Mitro was number one for 4 years. She'll miss it this year from blogging, essentially, because people find her blogs. If you have blogs, you optimize them for a search engine. People come in and they find the information, and I looked at Melanie Mitro's blogs, and I think one of the top ones is like 5 grams of sugar. They're not ranked. She's not ranking for a Beachbody program name or anything like that. Simply 5 grams of sugar, and people rank for that. There's, one of Melissa's top posts that rank is accountability in weight loss. We had a post go viral on coconut oil, 10,000 shares on Facebook, because we jumped on news. That's another good way of getting ranked. Extra value, but jump on the news. If there's something that comes up in the news, like there was the whole thing about La Croix, and how it was going to kill you because it was full of horrible chemicals and things like that. And if you actually went and read about it, they said that essentially one of the chemicals, the natural existing flavors, is something that's in oranges and lemons naturally. But if you take enough of it in a different format, it will kill mosquitoes or insects or something like that. But oranges and lemons are insecticides. And we have those in fruit and stuff, but not worry about it. Someone could have done a really good blog post about that, a good YouTube video about that, which would be very relevant. And that's how Melissa's article went viral. Someone was like, coconut oil is bad for you. And then we looked at it and we saw, oh, wait a second. It's written by the American Heart Association, who is sponsored by these companies. And that's why they're saying that it's bad for you. So those sorts of things can be huge. So look what's going on in the news, read what's going on, have an awareness of that. Blog, SEO, make sure you're writing posts and content for your avatar to help them thrive and survive. Avatar, thrive, survive. Awareness, right? So this is people getting to know you. This is the eyes across the room, and maybe you guys are starting to talk, right? They know you, so they now know who you are, right? You see, Will Ferrell. This is I sat and prepared this presentation like. I won't lie, this wasn't for you guys. I did this live for a Diamond Retreat, but I sat and prepared this like 10 minutes before. I'm like, how am I going to make this interesting? Will Ferrell. So awareness, next stage, engage. Polls, questions. Is the dress black and gold or blue and black? Are they saying Yanni or I can't remember what the other one was. Yanni. I remember the audio thing. If you guys have not seen that, don't listen to it. But you want to get them commenting. You want to get them interacting. This is Instagram stories, right? Instagram posts using hashtags gets people onto your feed. Get them into their story and they get to know you. That's the next stage. You want them to know who you are and what you're doing and what you're about and why they want to follow you and why they want to come back and watch your stories every day because they enjoy what you're talking about, right? So how do you build engagement? Ask them questions. Ask polls. Which dress should they be wearing, etc. So much as the black and gold blue, you know, good coaches do this. Oh, I'm going to an awards ceremony. Should I wear this dress or this dress? What do you think about this shoes? I don't care if you already know which dress you're going to wear. Ask people because you're going to get engagement, which means that you can then go on. So pretend that you care what people are thinking about. And they, oh, look, I got an overwhelming success on the dress that I was going to wear anyway. It doesn't always have to be real. Connection. Shake and bake. So next, you want to get them involved, right? So now we've gone through those first steps, and maybe we say to them, okay, here's my free ebook on going good to great as a PIO instructor, or my 8-hour abs guide, or let's have a friend request. This is like when you're dating that you've got their phone number. Maybe you've got access to their Facebook. You know, phone number's not quite so intrusive, but once you've got access to your potential suitors Facebook, that's when things get serious, because you know they're going to go through and they're going to look at all the photos of everyone that you've ever been with and check that stuff. So Facebook is kind of maybe further down the steps of intimacy, right? You know, maybe you guys are going steady by that point. Do we still say that? Anyway, goal, email address, phone number, Facebook friend, that next stage. So they've found you in awareness, they're engaging with things, and then you can be like, hey, you seem like you have a lot of things in common. Chat, email, Facebook, connection, right? Shake and bake. Make them do something. Make them play the cowbell. Give me more cowbell. So we've got them involved with us now, okay? So now we want them to do something. We want them to participate in something. We want them to give us some of their time. So whether you run free groups or not, maybe you should. If you're having trouble getting people started on something, run a free group, run a crock pot challenge, a water challenge. Try and make it specific to your avatar, something that's relevant for them. Have something pre-planned so that you can just schedule it and it be scheduled week-in, you know, once a month or whatever. But have something that gets people involved. Get them involved, get them doing something, get them, you know, doing a plank challenge. Get them doing something, or sneak peeks for coaches. Get them into a sneak peek. Get them to spend some time in there. Talk to them. Do amazing things. After that comes the excitement stage of this. I love these guys on SNL. The energy, etc. on there. Yep. So this is something that pretty much every coach forgets, which is building excitement. Oh, did you love that water challenge? Did it make you feel amazing afterwards? Yeah. Follow up with them by email, follow them up by messenger, follow up after that sneak peek. You know, sometimes from a sneak peek, they'll be like, yeah, I'm ready to sign. But then you'll be like, wow, did you see someone's story? Did you see that? Isn't that exciting? Here's another example of someone who did really well with coaching. This person couldn't afford to sign up. And then look, they've now bought a 5,000 square foot house in Texas. That is an actual story. I can show you that video at some point. But you know, they're the sorts of stories that will inspire people and get them to that next stage. Oh, look at this person. Yeah, they couldn't even climb off the couch when they started a program, but look, they started walking, they started drinking Shakeology, they ate these little containers of stuff, and look, they did amazing things. I'm going to knock something over. My hands are getting animated here. But build up the excitement, and at that point, you should be able to get them to close. Be direct. Ask multiple times. No doesn't mean no. I hate cold calling. Pretty much all of our business has come through referrals, but we're getting to the stage that, you know, if we want to keep growing a business, we have to kind of go cold calling almost. And I hate the thought of it. And I spoke to a business coach and they were like, well, you need to approach it from not I'm trying to sell them. It's, I'm trying to work something out that is beneficial for both of us. It's a win-win situation, right? So that's what it's got to be. You need to look at someone and be genuinely like, oh, I can seriously help you lose that weight, or I can seriously help you be able to afford a car payment, or to put a full tank of gas in your car. I can help you do those sorts of things. And so if you have that, if you have that approach, and are genuine in that, and they're your avatar, and you know the words that are going to tweet with their brain, you can do that. Ask multiple times. Be direct. Hey, so you ready to join my next challenge group? Add urgency. Hey, my group starts a week on Friday. I need orders in by Sunday. Are you ready to do that? And ask multiple times. You know, if they ghost you, ask them to, you know, I could go so many places on this, but one of the good examples I've heard, I work with Josh Coates as well. Some of you may know who he is, but I help with his advertising and some of his messenger work, like automating systems in the background. But he says for Success Club, which you guys know is the building block of your business, you should be hitting it every month. And if you're not trying hard enough, find 3 people to help. Everyone can find 3 people to help. And if they're not in your warm network to start with, go out and start looking for those corgi mums or those inked ladies or whatever it is, you know. He says, if your house was on fire, you came home, you and your wife have been out on a date night, or you and your husband have been out on a date night, and you're coming home and you see there's a house on fire in your neighborhood, you'd speed up to get there, right? And then you look at your street and there's a house fire in your street and the babysitter's home with the kids, you'd hurry up, right? And you got to your house and the firefighters are there and they're blocking you from getting in. You would jump through that fence to go and check that your kids weren't in there, right? Well, your house is on fire. If you can't afford, if you're not sure if you can buy Shakeology this month, your house is on fire. You should be able to find that $100 for doing that. And so you need to treat your life like your house is on fire, and not be looking for Success Club today, the 28th of the month. You need to be pushing to hit it by the 15th, because that way you know that you've put the house out on fire, and at that point onwards you can just be about building your business. Hit Success Club 10, you'll see amazing things happen in your business. You'll start to see paid leads coming in, people that Beachbody give you that are buying Shakeology already, and so you just get you get the commission, and you didn't have to do anything. You know, I was an active coach at one point, and I remember hitting Success Club 10 month in, month out. I'm horrible because I'm overweight and hate exercise and don't like eating well. So that's why I'm a horrible Beachbody coach, people. This is because people are always like, well, you know, marketing, why aren't you a good Beachbody coach? Well, I can't eat well. I stress eat. I comfort eat. I eat emotionally. I secretive eat. There's a lot of eating in my life. That's why I like to cook as well, you see, because then I can cook and then eat. But when I hit Success Club 10, I had like someone who bought Shakeology for 7 months straight, maybe even 10 months straight, and I didn't even speak to them. It's like $300 from that person, and I didn't even speak to them. That's what happens when you hit Success Club 10. You get these people like, you try and send them a message, of course, but they don't respond, but they just keep buying their Shakeology, and sometimes they'll buy a challenge pack, and it's just like, well, just give me the money. Just give me the money. And so anyway, your house is on fire, Success Club, hit it. Just hit it. When this is Beachbody Corporate, what did they say? You're not allowed to give away a gift of more than $25 to incentivize someone to buy a challenge pack. Okay, so you make $40, $50 on a challenge pack, but you can give away $25 to incentivize them as long as it's within a fixed time limit, only once a month, I believe, and everybody who's making the same order has to do it. So let's say you're at Success Club 4 and today's the 28th of the month. You need to hit Success Club 5 so you can carry on your Success Club streak, etc. Well, why not say to them, you buy a challenge pack today, I'm going to give you a $25 Target gift card. Remember, Avatar, maybe it's a $25 subscription to a magazine or to a yoga service, or maybe you're going to help pay for half of their Park Studios membership or something like that, you know? These plugs are not intentional and not planned. They just keep coming to my head. So I can see image-wise, Ellen's there, then Michelle. So that I'm looking at you guys and talking to you guys right now. Stacey, I see you too, but I don't know anything about you. I'm sorry, but she's smiling now. Anyway, your house is on fire. Hit Success Club. Get them to buy. Ask lots of times, and keep going back and asking again. Now they've made the decision. They've put the $140, and they're like, "Oh God, what did I do? What did I do? What have I got myself into?" Some of you are probably listening to me and thinking, what have I got myself into? But you got yourself into something amazing and you can do amazing things. Honestly, I promise you, just go for it and you can do amazing things. But buy a confidence, right? Like, who bought Shakeology? And the first time they drank it, I remember the first time I drank Shakeology, and I do still drink Shakeology, even though I'm unhealthy and a terrible Beachbody coach. But the first time I drank Shakeology, I went to the DMV, and I went down without an appointment to the DMV in California for getting my license. I think, I'm foreign license. They don't like us over here. And so I had to go and do all that stuff. And I remember going down to the DMV and thinking, oh, this will be 10 minutes. I'll just go in, go out and get this, right? You can see shaking heads. And hopefully it's the same in the rest of the country and not just like that in California, but well, hopefully it's not. But you go in and I'd eaten breakfast. I drank Shakeology at like 9, 10 in the morning. And by the time I got out of the DMV, which I went down to about 11:30, it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was like, I'm not hungry. The heck, right? So that was my experience, and I directly correlated it to Shakeology. Not everyone's that smart. Sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, I've been pooping a lot this week. Let's do it. Let's go into digestion," because that's what one of the things that Shakeology does for people. And don't tell Nicole I said this, but she really likes to poop and be regularly pooping. So, constipation is real, right? People don't like to be constipated, and it makes them feel really uncomfortable. I've never had this issue. So. But sometimes you need to remind them, hey, have you felt more energetic? Have you felt more regular? Have these things? Sometimes you need to reinforce those ideas because they might attribute them to something else. But if they attribute it to Shakeology and they're like, well, yeah, it may be regular and I feel great. I've not felt constipated this month, and that's amazing. So build their confidence, follow up with them. Hey, it's 7 days after you ordered. Hopefully by now Beachbody has delivered the package for you. You've got this. This is my favorite way of drinking Shakeology. But here's some other great recipes. Oh, how do you find it? Oh, it tastes chalky. You're full of bullshit. You can't afford this stuff, and that's the reason you're going to make. Or try putting some avocado in it. Make it with heavy cream. Don't shake it in a shaker with just water. You know all the rules for good Shakeology, but follow up with them. And then a week later, say, how are you feeling? Are you feeling more regular, etc.? Are you feeling more energized? Oh, you're coming up on the end of your month. You didn't sign up as a coach. If you sign up for a coach, you get 25% off your next order, and you could sell it to someone else, and you're then getting 50% off your next order. Follow up. Make them think that they've made a good choice, because they have made a good choice. People who don't do well at Beachbody just failed, essentially. You can do this. Anyone can do this. And there are people like you for you to help. You might think, oh, I'm not a Melissa McAllister, or I'm not a Moira Kusaba, or I'm not a Ashley Moldstadt. But they're just people who are working with people in their niche, and you can be the same as them. They didn't have the same perfect hair and nails that they have now. Look at some of Melissa's old photos and the blonde dye and things like that. She looked back then like what Mick looks like now. I spoke with Brittany Adamson, who's from Beachbody Corporate, and she used to help people between 2-star and 9-star diamond. And I said, what's the biggest difference you notice between a coach who's under 2-star and getting up towards 9-star, other than the fact that their hair and nails get better? Because if you've got more money, you can spend more money on those sorts of things. Simple as that. And that's why you think you can't be like them. Well, they didn't think that they could be like them when they got started. You know, they've got more money to spend on hair and nails. And let's face it, if you have more money, those things can look nicer. There's a reason the Kardashians look like they look, because they've got a shit ton of money to spend on those sorts of things. I digress. But anyway, next step, one of my favorite SNL sketches here as well, is getting them to talk about it. So we talk about, I think it was Jamie Fitzpatrick who spoke about this at Summit a couple of years ago, about how in their challenge group, they get people to go out and talk about their results. They get them to post on their Facebook pages and tag the person that put them in there. So, you know, comment on your Instagram, Facebook posts, talk about it. Talk about how it's made you feel. And if they haven't signed up as a coach initially, it's kind of getting them to dip their toe into coaching. So if they go out and say, well, you know, you've lost 10 pounds in the 3 weeks that you've been doing this, you should tell people about this. Tell people about it. And then, you know, so you're kind of getting them to that next stage that they're ready to talk about it. They're moving on. Excuse me. Why is this not clicking forward? And then the last bit is you get them to become a promoter, right? So at this point, they've bought, they're comfortable in their purchase, they're comfortable to talk about it on Facebook, and now they want to build a team, right? We're going streaking in the quad. Create business builders, have them speak up about what them do, have them reach out to people in their avatar group. You know, they may be in your group on certain areas, but they may not be in other ways. You know, they may love Pio and yoga, but one of you may have tattoos and the other one may not have tattoos. One of you may have kids, one of you may not have kids. That's fine. You may have shared interests, you may have differing interests, and that's all fine. So at this point, you know, you want to help them do this. You want to help them build their own journey through things. I can't remember whether I have any more slides. Okay. Changing world of marketing. Facebook pages get no traction. They're more important than ever because we can do messenger bots with it. I'm going to show you Michelle's Transform 20 messenger bot we just finished. It's amazing. Facebook groups are the new thing. Facebook is putting a lot of effort into groups. Next year, they're going to roll it out that you can charge people to be in a Facebook group and take their money through Facebook. Think about that. So Facebook's really loving groups. So if you can put prospects into a group, deliver them some free value and try and upsell them into your challenge groups, amazing. Instagram and Facebook are getting strict on MLM ads. It's true. You need to be smarter with the way you approach people. So if you're giving them a free guide on something, for example, one of the clients I work with, who I'm not legally allowed to name, we did a social media influencer guide for her. And so that's a way of getting people into coaching, but we talk about, you know, get my guide on how to be a social media influencer. YouTube and Pinterest are still relatively untapped markets. There's training out there about both, but they're both huge opportunity. Automation bots, I'm going to show you one. Did I do this? So this was a bot we did for Melissa. This was how you can get the MAID diet. So what happens is they get a message that says, hey, thanks for messaging me. Can you do a favor? Click the thing so I know you're not a bot. Give me abs. Okay, give me your email address and I'll send it right to you. So at this point, this is all in Messenger. She's sending out a message. I'm sending a message. And what will happen is, and this is not Melissa actually typing back, this is a bot. Check your email address for your copy of the 8-Hour Abs Diet. That's one of her things. And then she upsells you into, and it's coming, that typing thing is fake as well. We can tell it to say, make it look like I'm typing for 5 seconds or for 20 seconds. Amazing. Honestly, these are going to change the world next year. But at this point, it's like, you know, do you want the MAID diet, which is her $9.99 ebook? And at this point, we've upsold them into that. Excuse me. Okay. So this is the sort of thing you can do with bots. They're amazing. And I'm going to show you Michelle's, going to say 21-day fix bot, but that's like 4 years ago now, and they didn't have bots at that point. But they can be used to deliver value. Right now, while I'm doing this, Melissa has a coach with a coach call with Amy Silverman, and we had all her coaches get into a bot, and we sent a message out that said, "Don't forget the Amy Silverman calls on in 30 minutes." As a coach, what do you think is going to happen if more people turn up to your team calls? What is going to happen if more people get your messages? I'm not going to fill in that blank for you. And this is kind of what being a coach is like. You're on one mountain, and what you want, you're retiring from your day job, your house by the lake, your Aston Martin DB5 is on the other side there. And we kind of get into this habit of building half-built bridges. I'm going to concentrate on Instagram. Oh, wait. Melanie Mitre writes blogs. I need to do blogs. Oh no, I got to be really good on Instagram stories or Pinterest. And what happens is we never we never complete any of these bridges. And so what happens is you end up with a load of half-built bridges, what I like to call shiny object syndrome. And so what I want you to take away from this call is to go and complete one of those things. Because once you've completed one, you'll then go and complete the next one, and then the next one. And then look what happens when you complete them. You get to your pot of gold. Yay. It's overwhelming. I know. We sat down as a team and we found 59 different ways that you can be promoting your Beachbody business between organic and paid and ebooks and everything like that. So don't get overwhelmed. Don't try and do it all. Find one and really go for it. Try and be the best Instagram person that you can be. Try and be the best Facebook person you can be. Be a Pinterest goddess. And that's kind of all the sort of stuff that I do, but I'm going to talk to you a bit more about that when I speak next time. So next step, I'm going to show you Michelle's bot.
It just sounds inappropriate. I don't want.
I hate the word bot. I hate the word bot. And yes, because for British people, it means bottom, right? Bot. We saw Michelle's bot on her Instagram this morning anyway. So
listen.
Let me
crazy messages.
Let's get Michelle's bot going here. So what I'm doing is I'm just sending it to myself here so you can see.
Steve, we just had a team call. Cam said a team call with us with Shanti yesterday morning.
You did?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I'm really scared of that program, but my wife is probably going to make me do it. So we did lift 4. You impressed? For the unfit Brit? That could be my brand, the unfit Brit.
That should be it. That's perfect.
I love that. I'm
going to steal that because, I was going to do.
All right. So I just triggered Michelle's bot. Woo. Let me go into Michelle's bot here and let me show you what's coming up. So I'm just trying to try and make it so that people aren't overwhelmed by seeing everything on the screen so they can just see the little bot there. And it's not going to let me. There it is. There it is. Okay. So now let's share that little screen there. Okay. So this is literally what came up in my Facebook Messenger here. So I clicked a link which said, Michelle, I'd love to work with you on Transform 20. And so then we sent this amazing little picture of Shanti that says, work, sweat, transform, everything. And Michelle then said to me, I'm so excited you're interested in doing Transform 20 with me. A couple of questions. What's your real name, in case you don't use it on Facebook? My real name is Steve Andrews. And then look, and because I'm an admin on Michelle's page, I see that too. And what's the best email address to reach you at? So she can send me a link, make me buy a challenge pack from her. That's my email. Last question, are you working with a Beachbody coach already? If I click yes, it's going to tell me to go and work with my own coach. But I'm going to click no. This is where it gets fun. Okay, now the fun part. I'm going to scroll up because it clicks through a little quickly. Choose one of the 3 packs below and click and let me know how to help you get started. If you have any questions, let me know. So this is all inside the Messenger bot. This is Transform 20 with BOD and Shakeology, and it kind of tells you what you get there and the cost. And I can scroll across, and that's the one with Performance Pack. And then we've put this one in there for the big money spenders, the 445 one. And then if I click Go All In, it then is going to take me into the next bit, which is going to be like, great. Which flavor of Shakeology would you like? Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, cafe latte, vegan chocolate, etc., etc. I didn't put greenberry in there, Michelle, because I don't think anyone drinks that flavor anymore. Because it tasted like ass years ago, so I'm not sure it tastes any better right now. Okay, great. I'll send you a link on Tuesday to order your pack. And then what we have on the back end of that bot. I have someone on my team who's from New Jersey, and she says, bat. It's the bats. But we've now got an email address. We've got what flavor of Shakeology, and because of what Facebook gives us, we actually have where they're from. So it will tell me English US or English Canada or English UK. So now we have everything we need to do to share a cart. And so we have the bot on the back end send an email to Michelle. let's see if I can show you that bit as well, so that you can see the amazing things that you can do and how you can get off the crazy train that can be following up with everybody. We've gone well over half an hour. I am so sorry. I know it's really late on the East Coast. Well past my bedtime.
Everyone needs a Steve. There's your camera.
Okay, so let me show you what comes on the back end without showing you Michelle's whole email. There we go. So these are just the people who've, and it just happens to be Nicole and I right now, because we've, I think the link's out there actually now, but
is it really?
I think it only went out like an hour ago. And so we have the tool, and it just says first name, last name, the answer to which pack they want, and cafe latte, and country. It says English, US, and then my email address. So Michelle can go in and send me a link on Tuesday, and then she can get me excited by all the people's amazing results, and get me into the group. And if I'm not ready to go in the group at that point, we could maybe even send something out saying, hey, would you like a challenge pack for Christmas? Send this link to your significant other and tell them to hit me up. I've seen Mary Kay people do that. Anyone buy Mary Kay stuff? Mary Kay does some good stuff. And I've seen Mary Kay representatives, because it happened to me. Nicole gets some stuff from Mary Kay, and they're like, oh, and I got a message from her Mary Kay rep saying, hey, Mother's Day is coming up, and Nicole and I were discussing, and this is something she might like. I'm like, well, that's nice of her. So that's the sort of thing you can do as well. And think about that, because husbands might not be comfortable having that conversation with their wives and saying, hey, do you want a fitness program for January? I would never have that conversation with me. I am not that brave, but that's the sort of thing you can do.
Awesome.
Let me look at these messages. Okay, I could listen to you talk all day. Love the accent. You'll get bored of it quickly. I can get away with cursing a lot more though, because everyone says you just sound like you're flustered in England when you go fuck. You know, people do. People feel it's not as harsh as an American fuck, right? So it's kind of a light fuck. My biggest issue is the follow-up. I want to be genuine and still get the sale. You know, things have changed so much since we got involved with Beachbody. You couldn't send voice messages. You couldn't send video messages. Send voice messages, send video messages. Record some pre-done ones that are generic, like, hey, girl, or however you do that, and just drag them into your Facebook, because people like that, and it feels so much more personal at that point. And if they're your avatar, you should know what's going to make them think. That's when you start to think about your avatar, and you start to really think about everything about them. You should know what's going to trigger them. You know that this isn't about losing weight. You know it's about lack of confidence. And maybe you've seen those triggers because they're your sort of people, that you know that maybe their pants don't fit as well as they want to. And these are not, these are no one's examples exactly. I've worked, my undergraduate degree, I was 10 to 1 outnumbered by women. So that's why I feel like I do well in Beachbody, because I understand women. I lived with 4 women in my final year at university, which basically meant there was no free week in the month, right? 4 women. Apart from, I know about that when everyone aligns, which is weird as fuck. Like, you get all women together and they all start having periods in the same week. Nature. But anyway.
I think you are a girl. I'm pretty sure you are.
But really think about your avatar and think about their pain points, and then address those pain points. Don't be afraid to say, I know that you ate crazily over Christmas, but approach it from I ate crazy over Christmas. Did you? Yeah. That's fine. That's what the holidays are about. I drank a lot because I couldn't put up with my mother-in-law or whatever it is. And I hate going to the mother-in-laws for Christmas, or, people are going to work with that. Nicole is a HSP, a highly sensitive person. And so she can post about that, and people appreciate that, because it's like, she knows what people are thinking in her niche, right? And when you know that sort of thing, you can build real relationships. And so when you're following up with people, follow up with a genuine interest in helping them. Because let's face it, I would rather you have someone that you build a great relationship with who's going to come in and be a diamond coach for you, rather than bringing someone in just because you can get them to buy a challenge pack. Yeah. And that's a funny thing, you know, I'm not sure if anyone's done Facebook ads or Instagram ads or anything like that. And people are like, oh, it cost me $40 to get a lead. But if that one person is an amazing person who's exactly your sort of person, I don't care if you spend $200 to get them. They will bring you that money back time and time again. I know for Melissa's business, because she's got 7 business centers, that a diamond coach is worth $10,000 a year to her because of the volume and it counting in all these different business centers. That's the sort of thing that, you know, you can get to if you find the right people, not just any people. So find your people. Ellen, foodie, yes. I found this terrible that I know this, but I found an app which lets me get pretty much any book for free, which is great for personal development. I'll share the link with you at some point, but you didn't get it from me. It's a Russian site. And I found this book called Flour, Salt, Yeast, Water. It's all about making bread, and I'm like all going to be over it this weekend. Ingrid's coming for dinner, Michelle, this weekend. So yeah. So Ingrid's coming for dinner this weekend. But like, I'm just completely off the track. Foodie, yeah, that's right. Everyone needs a Steve. Thanks for all the information. Must go. Yeah, I hope that there's value in this, and feel free to share this call with. I don't care. Anyone can see this call. There's nothing in here that I wouldn't say in front of everybody. I think that the value journey is really important, and taking people through that is really important. Questions?
Thank you, Steve.
Any more questions?
Oh, Ellen does.
I just want to say I enjoyed this more than the Sean T call.
Oh.
Do you want to see my abs?
Don't tell him. No, actually, I really did. Like, I love this, and I just wanted to give you the quick feedback that I feel like the content you provided us with would be like amazing for a brand new coach, like brand new, but also for like everyone on the continuum, my level coach, all the way up to, you know, those coaches that are just like, you know, stacks on stacks on stacks. So thank you. I did have some questions, but I can ask them some other time. But you're going to be on the call with us, right?
Yeah, because Michelle wanted me to talk about, you know, what sort of things that are to kind of help you build your business. And so I'll bring some information on that.
At some point, can we have like a window of Q&A for you?
Yeah, let's put that in next week. I'm not sure I can find enough to talk about next week with that. So if anyone, if you watch this call this week, come next Wednesday, come with your questions.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thank you very much, Steve. I really, really appreciate it.
You are very welcome. I love to talk on calls. So if you know anyone else who wants a call, this is, I teach. I love to teach.
Yeah.
I was going to be a high school languages teacher, and then realized how terrible it would be trying to teach people who don't want to learn French. So at least you guys chose to be here, and you don't have to be here if it's part of your degrees. Mil gracias. And,
yes.
the problem is I speak Castilian Spanish, so I Barcelona, I put the th in things, right? You know, that's my way of doing everything, but I love calls with British F-bombs. All right, I will see you next week. We'll have a fucking amazing time.
Oh, gosh. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.